Hey Internet, and welcome back to No Meta, Just Vibes. Today, we are playing Warframe. Now, Warframe's a game that I have a good amount of history with. I originally played it when it released back in, I want to say 2013, 2014. I don't even think it was on Steam yet, but it was a pretty simple game where you played a robot ninja, you ran around, shot guys, sliced them up, tried to be stealthy, sometimes you tried not to be stealthy. It was a fun time. I played it with some friends, and then as, gaming groups tend to do, we moved on to something else. And a few years went by, and I kept hearing about Warframe, and it got this really good reputation, not only for being really fun, but for adding a lot of really cool types of content, and for having a really good community and a really good business model. The game is totally free to play. There is a cash shop where you can buy things. Most of what you can buy, you can make in the game, which is cool. You can farm stuff in the game, or you can pay real money for it. You can actually even trade money with other players, so you can farm things that other players want and get money for that. All cool stuff. But what really interested me is that people started talking about the story in Warframe, and story wasn't one of the things that was kind of part of the game when I originally played it. There was a little bit of context, but it wasn't a cinematic game. But the way people were talking about it, I had to check it out. And so I did, and I found that Warframe was like a completely different game just a few years later. And the fun thing about playing Warframe is that every time you come back to the game, if you're a casual like me, it is like a totally new experience. The devs have added so much content to this game that it is actually pretty overwhelming. And the number one thing that keeps people away from Warframe is the sheer number of systems and gameplay styles that are in this game that are kind of all piled on top of each other, but also are kind of their own islands. So there's pieces of content in Warframe that interacts with other pieces of content, but it's not necessarily required. So if you want to get into playing Warframe, my advice is honestly look up the basic gameplay and then don't do a lot of other research on it. Get inside, play the game, see if you enjoy it, and then you'll kind of come to the other stuff naturally. Let's go into the game real quick and we can kind of see what it's all about. So this is my current Warframe that I'm working on, Styanax. I actually don't know when he came out, but I had to get him because he is based on the Spartans, and I myself am a Spartan. My family is from Sparta. Go there all the time, so I had to rep my people. But yeah, this is my current Warframe, and then this is my ship. So you'll notice if you start playing the game, your ship is not going to be where mine is, and that's because one of the cool things about Warframe is that when major events happen in the story, it changes the game in a very material way. There have been new mechanics added that completely changed the scope of the game, and I don't want to spoil too much, but if you want to start playing this game, there's a bunch of stuff here, right? There's all these screens you can go to. There's like a bunch of stuff in the back of the ship, but over here is your navigation, and you can ignore what this stuff says here. If you go to your navigation, you go to your star map, and these are all the different planets that are in the game. There's also like another map that is kind of like the hard mode version of this, but this is the basic map. All these planets have nodes on them. So let's go to Mars, for example. When you start the game, all you need to worry about is clearing all of these nodes. Just do all of these levels. They're going to open up gradually. If you see somewhere, I should have one that I haven't done. Okay, so here, for example, is a node that I haven't done yet. It's blinking, it wants me to do it. This node is locked until I do this one, right? So there are some that are kind of required for the story and some that aren't. But generally, if you just go through the nodes, you can see here, it's going to take you to Mars. Things are going to kind of unlock gradually. You're going to see different parts of the game, and eventually you'll do everything you need to do. And everything you're interested in, because again, there's a lot of different stuff. All of this up here is different kinds of content. This is a roguelite mode that they just added to the game. It's also an alternate starting experience. I would say If you're going to start the game, don't start in the Deviri paradox. It gives you the option. It teaches you the game really well, but I think story-wise it kind of spoils some stuff, and I think it'll be more rewarding if you play this after you've kind of learned the game more, even if it is kind of more cinematic and a kind of nice way to get introduced to, you know, the scope of the game. But the other important screen, if I can hit the right keys on my keyboard, is over here. This is the codex, and this is where you get your dictionary. You have, you know, a bunch of stuff that you can get information on some of the different warframes and some of the different objects. I have a lot that I haven't scanned. You have different companions, right? There's you know, a lot of information here. There's also training. You can oh, know what happened there. Yeah, there's training. You can get training on some of the different types of contents and enemies you can fight. This is good stuff to know. I don't remember exactly how it puts these to you. I think most of these are going to get given to you like during gameplay, but you can always come back and look at them with quests. This is where things get interesting, because Warframe has one of the best stories in MMOs, and you might not expect it, given that, you know, it's a game about being a space ninja, right? And I don't believe these are in chronological order, the ones that I've completed. I know that this is the first one. This is like the first story, and it's going to kind of guide you through the basics. But at some point, you're going to be fighting all these enemies. You're going to be killing a lot of people. You're not really going to know why. You're going to get lots of different objectives. Some of these quests unlock blueprints for warframes, and sometimes they'll be about the warframe, that, you know, how they fit into the lore and kind of what their story is. Some of them are really small. Some of them are bigger. This one unlocks Ureli, who we'll talk about later, because she is my main. But at some point, you're going to start being asked some questions. Questions about who the enemies are that you're fighting, what they really want, who your allies are, why you're doing all the stuff that they tell you to, and most importantly, who you are. Who your character is actually a huge mystery in the beginning of the game, but you might not really know it because you're just thrust into the middle of things and you think, okay, you know, I'm a Tenno. I do what the Lotus tells me, and, you know, that's all I need to know. But at some point, these strange beings start appearing, and they're related to an ancient war that was fought a long time ago. And then you get to what everyone considers, and I know, like, everyone says that if you want to get into Warframe, to really get into Warframe, you need to get to the quest, the Second Dream, because that is, in a real sense, where Warframe kind of begins for real. This was a huge turning point in the game's development, in the game's lore, in the way that the game delivered not only its story, but its mechanics too. And no one wants to hear, hey, you have to play a bunch of hours of this game before we get to the good part. Warframe's good from the beginning, don't get me wrong. It is so fun. If you play it and you enjoy the gameplay loop and the moment-to-moment gameplay, you're going to have a great time, and you're going to get to the Second Dream naturally. But when you do, you're going to see what makes Warframe special. Because all of these stories are fun. You know, most of them involve you going and fighting things. Sometimes they involve different mechanics. But, you know, for the most part, most of these are kind of doing the same things you do in the normal game, but with a specific purpose. What you might not expect is the depth of emotion in this game's storytelling. Everything that this game does has a core of humanity to it. And this is a world where, you know, your enemies are, you know, evil corporations who just worship capitalism, mutants who are, you know, inbred copies of the same person over and over again, an infestation of crazy, you know, bug creatures. But all of it comes down to human stories. And that's what makes Warframe really special. I have been more emotionally drawn in to this story than a lot of other MMOs that I've played who kind of have a more traditional story structure. It's hard to describe how much people are at the center of every Warframe story and how they really are just emotionally gripping. You know, you have some open world areas that are kind of less mission based than the main ones. You have one on Earth, you have the Plains of Eidolon, you have one on Venus, which is Orb Valis. And Orb Valis, I think, is where Warframe kind of hit a stride too with its storytelling. I mean, everyone remembers the first time they went to Fortuna, which is the city on Orb Valis, and you see this incredible song from working class people who have gotten into so much debt that they have just sold off their body parts and replaced them with robot parts. Most of them don't have human heads anymore. And it's a real story about, you know, what their plight is, and that story continues, you know, past the point where you might think you never see them again. These places get revisited. Deimos, which is the Cambrian Drift, which is the most recent kind of open zone before Duviri. This is a hellscape full of crazy monsters, but at the core of it is a story about a family. It's a story about people and how they, you know, break apart and come back together. And these people are crazy mutants that rise out of flowers. Like this game takes its science fiction very seriously. It explores a lot of very cool sci-fi concepts. It's very, you know, high concept. It can be a little hard to follow the story, but it always comes back to human characters, including your own. Who you are plays a huge role in the story, and everything kind of flows out from that. So when people say, you know, you have to play Warframe until the second dream to see if it's really for you, as much as I hate to say it, that's kind of true. But hopefully, I mean, you should be enjoying the game until that. If you're not enjoying the game at all, you're not going to love it when the second dream comes. But if you are having a good time, the second dream is where Warframe kind of makes its case for what makes it special. So as I said before, my ship is not where your ship will be when you start the game. So you can see, even if I leave the ship, there's an area out here that you can explore. Then we go back into this back zone that you'll have from the beginning. So there's, again, a bunch of stuff back here that if you're just starting the game, you don't need to worry about. You can build weapons and warframes here. You can customize a little companion here. You have like a dog companion that you can have here. And then you have mods, which again, don't worry about them. Back here is where you can equip your warframes. So you can see right now I'm level 11 on this one. Max level is 30, I believe. So yeah, most of these are the warframes that I have. Not all of them are put all the way up. Some, you know, you can kind of just play whatever one you want. But one of the things that makes this game famous, besides its story, is the level of customization. This game has a ridiculous amount of customization. So if you want to change your appearance, there's a variety of helmets. Again, these you can buy. A lot of these too, a lot of helmets and skins are actually made by the community, which is very, very cool. So there's a lot of things that you can just buy for your Warframe if you want, if you find one that you really like. There are ways to earn some of these too, again, in-game. You can change your animation and stuff, but the real stuff is down here. You can see each of these lights up a zone, and you can change the color of your Warframe. So I have a pink and purple thing going on here. Most of my Warframes are pink and purple to some extent. Pink, purple, and gold is kind of the theme that I go with. But what's really cool is you can change the little lights. Titania doesn't have a ton. You can see a couple back here. But you can also change your energy color. So this changes your abilities color, which is awesome. More games should do this. I understand it's not always easy, but like this makes it so customizable. So this is, so you can see this is lighting up the little butterflies I have on me, and it's actually changing this aura. It kind of shows you what your skills will look like. Again, there's lots of color styles. The basic one has plenty of colors for you, depending on the material that that your Warframe is made out of. Some of these colors will show up differently. So like this is a pretty dark material, so it, you know, all the colors are a little muted. If you take a part that's metal, usually the colors will be a little brighter. But again, fashion is the end game in Warframe. It's one of those games. You can get You can get different capes. I don't have too many, but I have this one right here. I have this guy. They all have physics. This is the one I tend to use. And again, there's a ton more. There is just so much customization in this game. If there is a character you want to make, you can make them. There's a ton of Warframes. They all play differently. And there are also a variety of weapons. So let's put back on Syntax. So you can see my main hand right now is a spear gun. It is a corrosive plasma spear. So you can throw the spear, but it also shoots out corrosive acid plasma. And I like it because it kind of looks like a staff. My main, Ureli, I kind of have like a magical girl theme. So, you know, gotta have a staff. My secondary weapon, which I didn't anticipate showing the name of on screen ever, is a weapon I made in the demo section. It shoots out like mushroom spores. Very good. And again, these two, you can customize the appearance. I just take copy Warframe colors usually, unless there's something specific that I want to change, but you can just give it the colors of your Warframe. And then for my melee weapon, I have Zorus, which is a chakram that you can throw and then it explodes. Very cool. You also have a companion. I right now have a dog named after my dog, but there's other ones you can do. And again, you can customize these as much as you want. And then there's some other stuff we're not going to worry about. Again, this is kind of a high level overview of what it will be like if you start playing the game. We have my skills over here, we have my stats, and then we have upgrading. So the mod system in Warframe is also pretty extensive, and it can be very intimidating. But if you go to actions and hit auto install, the game will just put mods there for you. Eventually the game will show you how to upgrade mods. They'll take more space. Some mods need to go into certain slots. There's arcanes too, which are another kind of update system. This game is systems on top of systems, but it tends to be introduced slowly enough that by the time it's important, you'll be ready for it. Like, a lot of the content in this game doesn't need all of this stuff, right? You can do most of the main game with just this stuff. Weapons too, same thing. Weapons all have upgrade slots. Eventually, you're going to learn the game and you're going to say, okay, maybe I want, you know, I have enough strength. Maybe I need more duration. If you have abilities that you want to last longer, maybe you need more health or shield because you're kind of squishy. Maybe you need more energy because you have skills that use more of it. Maybe you want more range, but maybe you don't. Maybe your skills don't require that. Every Warframe plays uniquely, so every Warframe kind of has different needs, but you're going to learn them by learning the Warframe. And again, there's lots more stuff. There's a whole other section of the ship down there. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You don't have to do anything. You'll get there when you get there. So let's go into the game real quick and see how it actually plays. So usually when I'm leveling up a character, I go to Saturne and I go to Helene. And this is a defense mission. So every type of mission has a different name. There are a few different types. Sometimes they have you know, different specifics to them, but generally, you know, you're going to learn them all pretty quick. Helene is a defense mission, so we're going to be defending a central point from a few different waves of enemies. When you load up a mission, it'll look for other people to pair you with. You can have 4 people on a mission. If you can't find anyone, you'll go it alone. Again, most of the missions in this game are not hard until you get to, you know, the steel path, which is kind of the other side of the map. So see, we got a friend coming. There's plenty of Warframes that have more support skills. This one, I believe, has a defense buff for the team. But, you know, for the most part, this is going to be simple. We're just going to go in there and fight enemies, you know. So we have some stuff we can break open. And the thing that Warframe is famous for is its movement. They have parkour as one of the central mechanics of the game. Actually their most famous move is to run forward, do a slide, and then into a jump, and you do like a super high long jump. It's called a bullet jump. It's actually a glitch that was discovered like really early on in Warframe, but it's really fun, so they just left it in there. They just made it a mechanic. So we have these Grineer. Again, these are the guys that are all clones of the same dude. They are pretty mindless, although again, you will find out more about them. So we have our basic, our main weapon, which just fires out these blasts. We're going to pick up tons of ammo, so it's not usually much of a concern. We're going to parkour around. You can see some abilities going off. My first ability throws a spear. And if the spear nails an enemy to the wall, it magnetizes it and sends other enemies there. There's a lot of stuff in this game, and I've just started playing it again like a week ago. So there's a lot that I don't remember. But I'm just kind of, you know, this is just a game you can jump into, have fun with, and then, you know, learn whatever you need to. So enemies are just going to keep spawning until we clear a wave. Magnetize a bunch of them, and you just mow down people. I have my chakram. You can throw it and then press a button to explode it. And this is like OP. This has gotten me through like the entire game. And this is a weapon I believe you just get as part of the story. But if you upgrade it well, it just melts everything. Which I prefer melee to guns. So we cleared a wave. Eventually, it's going to ask us if we want to conclude the mission or keep going, and everyone kind of votes. The longer you play a mission, the more rewards you get. But you know, if you get tired of it, you can just peace out, and everyone else will keep fighting. But yeah, we're defending that one point on the map. These missions are one of my favorites because they're just like mindless fun, and they can get pretty hectic when lots of different enemies spawn. But here we use a skill that kind of fans out. Well, I also have like a, so that skill, it's hard. I've never had to talk while playing this game before. So that skill is like a provoke, and then I believe it gives my allies some kind of buff. I think it buffs their defense, maybe their attack. I don't really know. Again, I just unlocked this guy. I'm still learning him. We will, maybe not in this video, but we will talk about Ureli at some point because she's my main. And I'm one of very few people I think who main her more now. She was considered pretty bad for a while, but now I think she's a lot better. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those games where if you like a Warframe, you can play them. Like you know, of course there's going to be a meta for certain weapons in Warframes like there is in any game, but like a lot of games, most of the content that's not, look at me pull all those guys in, that was great. Yeah, like most games, the meta comes into play in such a small percentage of content that there's really no need to worry about it until you've put in enough time in this game where it's going to be second nature, right? Warframe is very easy to pick up. It's a power fantasy game. You feel so powerful when you play this game. And again, there's harder content that will, you know, make you sweat, but so much of it is just mowing down hordes of enemies, and it just makes it feel cool. You can jump right. There's wall jumping. I forgot to finish talking about the parkour. There's wall jumping. You can spend all this time in the air. There's a couple Warframes that can kind of fly. It's great. This game is just so fun. Every time that I come back to it, it feels like I'm rediscovering just something that's so special. And that's, you know, before you get the amazing story. And they actually have added a new update recently. Actually, there's probably, I think, 3 or 4 updates since I stopped playing. I've done a couple of them, got a couple left. I'm very excited to kind of see where it's going. They had kind of a big sort of finale of their first like 10 years of story. Was it this year or last year? Called The New War, which is a huge story, changes a lot of things about the game, both like lore-wise and a little bit mechanically. But again, it's a game where, okay, so here we're voting. Everyone wants to keep going, so we're going to keep going. I think a lot of people use this level to level up new Warframes. It's pretty small. It's not too hard. There's tons of enemies, so you get tons of XP. All these orbs lying around recover health and energy, so There's no need to worry about that. It's just so satisfying. When we get another big group, we can use my ultimate skill, because I haven't shown you that yet. Let's do our provoke. I don't actually know how that works really. I just know that it's good. Just blew myself up a little bit. Okay, so there's a bunch of guys down here. This is my ulti. Yeah, and again, that color, the color of all my energy attacks is determined by me. So, and the sheer variety in the warframes in this game is crazy. Some of them are, you know, good at range. Some of them are good at melee. Some of them are attackers. Some of them are defense. Some of them are kind of supporty. Some of them just have weird skills. And you can also mix and match skills. There is a mechanic that'll get introduced after you play for a while that lets you kind of sacrifice one of your warframes to use its skills on other warframes. And then, you know, if you want to get that warframe back, you can just go build another one. So it's cool. The like I said, most of what you can get in this game in terms of warframes and weapons, you can buy, but you can also make them. You can, you know, go to the wiki, find out. You can see what the ingredients are, but you know, the wiki will kind of tell you how to get them. Some grinds are short, some are not. This one I bought because I had a coupon. I think I read that the grind would take like 4 weeks. Not because you had to like play every day for 4 weeks, but because it's locked behind an activity, which again was added in one of the story updates, like a totally new gameplay thing. But you can only do it, you know, so many times a week. So I think to get this, you'd have to spend 4 weeks. And generally, I never know that I'm going to spend 4 weeks playing a game. But rather than buy anything in the Steam sale, I said, let me, you know, spend 10 bucks on Warframe, which, you know, altogether, I think my whole time playing this game, I've spent, you know, less than I would on a AAA game. They're like 70 bucks now. Like, you know, I buy Warframes once in a while if there's one I really like and I don't feel like grinding it. There are a few that I have, you know, grinded for and built. And it definitely feels nice to do that, but it's a fun game. It is. It's a very relaxing game, even though it can be very hectic. You know, it's cathartic, it's powerful, it's fun. I'm rambling. I'm gonna edit a lot of this out probably. Or will I? Maybe I'll make you watch the whole thing. Who cares? Like, 20 people are gonna watch this video, so it doesn't really matter, right? It's kind of nice. It's kind of nice. Here's what we can talk about. If you have a YouTube channel that is starting to gain traction, but then for various reasons you abandon it, and then years later come back and start making a entirely different kind of video. So like I used to make lore videos, which I loved, but I don't have the time to write, record, and edit videos the way I used to. But I just really wanted to make MMO videos, so I did. And you know, I'm not doing it to, you know, reclaim my former glory or whatever. You know, that's not how YouTube works. The algorithm determines everything, but because there's no stakes anymore, like I know that these videos are gonna get like 100 views or whatever. It doesn't matter. I can just do and say whatever. Well, not say whatever I want, but I can do whatever I want. You know, I did feel bad when I started doing MMO videos for people that were gonna like see me pop up in their sub feed and be like, oh, he's not doing the thing that I subscribed to him for like 7 years ago. But YouTube doesn't show your videos to subscribers anyway, so it doesn't matter. YouTube cares about viral videos and watch time. Subscribers don't matter anymore. Views still matter, but they cares more about how much time you spend watching a video. And my videos have all been long, but they're not the kind of long videos that you want to watch. They're the kind of videos where I don't know how to shut up. But again, it doesn't matter. I can just make whatever I want. And right now I'm having a lot of fun making MMO videos. I didn't expect to make so many Warcraft videos. Like, that was a fun surprise. I had a lot of fun playing Warcraft, and I'm still playing Warcraft a little bit, but just needed a little bit. I had no idea what's going on there. Oh, someone's still alive up here? Get out of here. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with the most recent Warcraft patch. I still have a bunch of the Final Fantasy XIV patch content to get to from Endwalker. These things are mods. If you get multiples of the same mod, you can either sell them or use them to enhance other mods. Like, it's good stuff. But yeah, I'm enjoying. Sure, I'll do one more. I'm enjoying making this kind of stuff. It's unscripted, which you can tell because I'm not good at talking, especially not good at talking while I play a game. But like, again, I'm in a who cares mindset. No, I'm in my late 30s. I was in my 20s when I started this channel. So it's like, man, who knows what's gonna happen? I'm just gonna have fun and talk about MMOs, because that way I don't have to talk to my friends about them. Because like, they're nice, but you know, no one wants to hear about me playing Warframe in my group chat. But you guys will listen to it. Like 3 people will watch this whole video. And to those 3 of you, hey, thanks for sticking around. Hopefully this is, you know, a nice video that'll put you to sleep and give you some relaxing times. We're gonna put some chill music over it and, you know, call it a day. A lot of the other mission types will have, you know, a bigger level than this. The defense missions tend to be pretty small and contained, but a lot of the other missions will have you looking for certain objectives. There are missions where you have, I have no idea what that ability is. Some will have you know, escorting people to safety. Some of them will have you tracking down, you know, one specific enemy. There's a lot of different objectives, a lot of different, these are called tile sets. So, you know, this is like the Grineer tile set. A lot of Grineer missions are going to have this type of location. And then sometimes they'll change based on the planet you're on. But they just added a new type of tile set with the newest, oh, you know what? Is that, yeah, someone else is using Styanax. That's cool, and they're blue. So you can see what my character looks like if someone, A, is probably playing them well, because I'm mostly concentrating on talking. Yapping, if you will. But also you can see, yeah, their effects are different because they customize differently. Visually, this game has a lot of Dune influence, and it has a lot of H.R. Geiger, like Alien influence, and also like Prometheus. I mean, Prometheus came out after this game did, but if you liked the aesthetic of Prometheus with like the kind of like almost marble statue-y kind of constructions paired with what is killing me right now? Get out of here. Now see, this is a big boy. Oh, we got him. All right. Dog's just recovering her shield. Yeah, the aesthetic is very dark and textured, but there's also a lot of kind of very pristine, you know, classically influenced stuff, depending on the culture that, you know, you're dealing with, which is cool. There's a lot of variety, but the thing that is always going to make you feel at home when you play this is the movement. Like, when you come back to this game, it is like riding a bike. Like, you're going to remember how to parkour. Oh, see, this guy's got a shield, so I need to get inside it to, you know what? There we go. Yeah, take that. You can aim too. If you aim in the air, you like slow down. You can get like bullet time. I think, yeah, my throwing weapon lets me do that too. Again, my recommendation is just play it. Just download the game and try it out. And if you like it, I guarantee you'll figure out all the complicated stuff. You know, if you, at some point, the game's gonna be like, hey, you need to build your spaceship now. Because you can build a spaceship and it has a crew and a whole like set of missions that are only for the spaceship. But it'll tell you like, hey, you need to do this to progress. And you can do it a little bit. You can, you know, build your spaceship, do some of the missions, go as far as you need to to kind of progress the main game, and then you can leave it if you want. You know, you don't have to do it anymore. You can if you want to get more rewards, you know, if you want to upgrade your spaceship more, if you want to get different parts for it, you can do that. So there's a lot of avenues for progress in this game. And I think that's what helps with some of the grinds, because if you are grinding something, having other stuff that you can do to take a break from it and work on multiple things at a time, I think definitely helps. You know, like I said, there's a new roguelite mode, which I haven't even touched. I did the story of it, but I haven't actually like done the roguelite part. It like gives you a different loadout in Warframe each time. There's missions that have you out in space. There's missions that have you underwater. There is a lot to be discovered in this game if you look at it as kind of different islands of content that you can explore when you're ready, rather than stuff that you have to learn from now. Because if you try to look up the game and everything that you can do in it, it becomes very overwhelming. You know, the first time you go into one of the open zones by accident, you're gonna have no idea what's going on. But you can just leave and the game will tell you when you need to go there, right? You'll do a few missions and then it'll take you on to something else, or you can stay there and keep doing it. There's a lot of different types of rewards in this game. There's a lot of different carrots on a proverbial stick, and it's up to you what you want to do. But at the end of the day, what we're all here for is to run around and brutalize a bunch of gross looking aliens. Yeah, see, 2 of us are ready to leave. I think once we get a majority, we go out. So here, I'm gaining and losing reputation with certain factions. I got my rank up to 24, and these I'm not going to talk about because it's a spoiler to what they are. I got a blueprint. I got some mods. I got some currencies, and then I got relics, which I can take into missions to potentially get Warframe and weapons parts to build. So, like, that's Warframe. There are lots of shorter missions. There's a lot of variety in the game. There's so much to discover. And we can go into the shop for a second. I mean, these are all the different Warframes. I think there's 55 or something. And again, they all have their own abilities. They all have their own lore. Some of them have like special weapons that you can either unlock or buy for them. There is a phenomenal breadth and depth of content in this game. And like I said in the beginning, there's also a phenomenal depth to the story. It is a very special experience. Like that's, I don't even know how else to say it. You know, Warframe doesn't drop tons of story missions at a time because they are very cinematic. They take a lot of time to develop. They often are introducing huge changes to, you know, the game world and sometimes the gameplay itself. But when they do drop an update, like a big update, it is something that you pay attention to. And that's, you know, that's what's happening to me. So this is a side quest where we have Angels of the Zarman, and then we have Whispers in the Walls, which just came out. Added a whole bunch of crazy stuff. Sometimes in these quests you play as other characters. Sometimes you play as other characters with like unique systems. You know, this adds a new sub weapon that I'm really excited to try on my kind of main. This game rules. It rules. It's got a very nice, welcoming community. Tons of people who are thrilled to teach you and help you. Lots of cool online communities. I'm going to probably make a follow-up video with some of the story stuff that I've been doing, but I just wanted to make kind of an overview of the game because I'm coming into my covering it on this channel, you know, not from a beginner's point of view. I wouldn't call myself an expert in the game by any means. I haven't done, you know, a huge portion of the content, but you know, I've played a lot of the main stuff. I just wanted to do an introductory video to kind of show you what Warframe is. The next video is going to be very spoilery, probably. It's going to have all sorts of crazy story stuff in it, but you know, even if you watch it, you probably will forget what it all means by the time you play anyway. But yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed this. If you like Warframe, let me know, you know, who's your favorite Warframe? Who's your main? I never showed off my main, so we're going to go do that real quick. This is my main. She's very controversial. We'll talk about why at another time. But yeah, I'm a Ureli main. Let me know what your main is. If you're also a Ureli main, then we're already friends. But yeah, hopefully you liked this little look at Warframe. If you did and you want to hit the like and subscribe button, even though I just talked about how YouTube doesn't care about subscribers, it's still a nice number to have. So yeah, you can do that. Share the video if you liked it, and you know, have a nice day. Bye.